Are you trying to gain muscle and finding your progress to be slim to none? Well, there's 5 things that are preventing you from growing to the maximum potential. So the first thing is going to be following influencer workouts. And that's exactly how it sounds. If you just randomly did the Rock's workout, that's going to be counterproductive for you to be building muscle. And why? Because that workout is for the Rock, right? So if you go and pick up Arnold's routine and you follow Arnold's program, that workout routine was for Arnold. It could be too much volume for you. It could be not enough volume for you. It really just depends. Every person, every individual is different. So when you follow any influencer's workout, well, that workout has taken that influencer time to build because they're understanding what works for their body. So because you don't know what works for you yet, if you just follow Sam Sulik's workout routine, that's not going to be optimal for you. You have to literally try and test things, write down your workouts and figure out what works for you and what doesn't. But the problem is that when you follow these random routines and you do, okay, I'm doing the Rock's leg workout today, I'm going to do Arnold's bicep routine, and then I'm going to do Sam Sulik's leg workout or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. It's not going to be productive for you to gain muscle. So stop following influencer workouts because they're just hurting you instead of actually helping you. Now, with that said, you can borrow things from other people. Let's say you like Arnold's chest routine, how he supersets chest and back. You can copy that. You can take that, but apply it to what works for you. And figuring out what works for you takes time. Second thing preventing you from growing and gaining more muscle is not having enough calories. Let's face it, the only way to gain muscle is being in a calorie surplus. If you're not taking in enough calories, you're not going to grow. Simple at that. And remember, your metabolism adjusts over time. So let's say, for example, you're consuming 3,000 calories and your weight gain kind of plateaus and you're not gaining any more muscle. Well, you need to bump that up. That means that your metabolism has caught up to that 3,000 calories you're intaking, and that 3,000 calories is no longer a surplus, but it has become a maintenance. So now you need to bump that up a little bit and move up and continue to push the calories. Because if you're not gaining, it's just because you're not eating enough. Plain and simple. There's no magic around it. Number 3, you're doing movements because you have to do movements. Now, what does that mean? This expert tells you you need to do the bench press, or you need to do a pull-up, or you need to do a squat in order to grow. Well, the problem was that when you do those movements, they might not be built specifically for your body, meaning that, for example, some people get a lot out of a barbell bench press, and other people prefer dumbbell bench press. It really just depends on your body, what works for you, your joints, your limb lengths, your mind muscle contraction. All those things matter individually to you. And that's what makes fitness so difficult and getting in shape and gaining muscle so difficult, because it's just so individualized. And you have to test all these different variables to see what's going to work for you and what doesn't. But just because expert A tells you you need to squat, you might get nothing out of the squat. For example, when I do a squat, and I've competed in powerlifting at very high levels, I've squatted a huge amounts of weight. When I squat, I get a lot of hip drive out of it, a lot of legs, a lot of hamstrings, a lot of glutes. So if I'm really trying to build up my quads, squats for me don't really build up my quads. I have to do something like a hack squat to do that. So it just goes to show that squats are a great movement. I'm not trying to take anything away from squats, but you need to find the movements that work for your body, okay? So stop following what this influencer says to do workout-wise, like you need to do squats. Not true. All right. Number 4, you're trying to stay too lean. Unfortunately, social media has kind of ruined this. You can't stay lean year-round. Let's face it, if you even look at pictures of Arnold, if you Google Arnold Schwarzenegger off-season, you will see he was not in shape at all. All the pictures and stuff you see of Arnold online is when he was peaked for a competition. The pictures that you'll find outside of that, if you type that in, he's not in shape at all. He doesn't look good. He actually, you're like, wow, that's Arnold. And that's the way it is. Same thing with all these other social media influencers. You're scrolling through your Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and you're seeing this influencer is ripped. They're not ripped all the time. If you're trying to maximize as much muscle as possible putting on your frame, you need to spend time in a calorie surplus. And the problem is when you're in a calorie surplus, you're going to gain both muscle and fat. There's no way around that. You can't just gain purely muscle. It Doesn't work like that. When you're in a calorie surplus, your body's just going to put anything on, fat and muscle. Now, with a proper routine, proper diet, proper protocols, all the things you're watching in this video, you're hoping to put on more muscle than fat, but we can't prevent any fat from going on. So if you are trying to stay too lean all the time, you're not going to maximize as much muscle as possible. So avoid trying to stay crisp lean. You could still have abs and put on muscle, but it just depends on you and your genetics and that comfort level of your body when it comes to body fat. All right. And number 5, this is probably the most important one, not controlling your reps. I see this all the time in the gym. People just manhandling weight. And listen, there's a time and place for that. You have to kind of manhandle certain movements, right? You need to, if you're doing heavy cheek curls or, a bench press or a squat or whatever, you need to kind of manhandle that weight. But I also want you to be cognizant of having a good squeeze at the top and a good control on the negative. You need to have that when you're lifting. Don't just go from point A to point B. I used to do that. In powerlifting, it's kind of like that, right? You're just trying to lift the weight from point A to point B. But if you're trying to develop your physique to the maximum potential that it has, you need to squeeze on the positive and control on the negative. Like I said, unless your goal is pure powerlifting, then that's different. You're just trying to move the weight from point A to point B for a competition. But aside from that, if you're not trying to do that, then you need to control the reps. Good negative, so control on the way down, get a good squeeze at the top. That will make a world of a difference for developing mind-muscle connection, which means how well your brain is connected to that muscle that you're training. And you will also get better pumps in the gym. You'll also add more muscle doing that. So please, please, please control the negative. Don't swing anything. Make everything that you do in the gym deliberate. And I promise you will start gaining more muscle. Now, if you made it this far in the video, I want to give you a free gift. No strings attached. I want to give you a free 6-week training program that I put together. All you have to do is click the links below. You can pick up that free workout. No strings attached. I want to help you and get you to where you need to go. This was Anthony, AB Fitness. I'll catch you on the next one.